Hello and welcome. It's Japan, and we are going to start a new series here. I don't know how often I'm going to get these uploaded because they do take a little bit of time, but I'm going to pick an indie wrestler, and we're going to jump into 6 or 7 matches and kind of dissect some parts of it. Not like so crazy that we have like that perfect rating. We're not Meltzer. We're not going to dissect everything and then give it a terrible rating, but we're going to just kind of pick over the different years and kind of different matches. I used Cage Fight to find a couple of the other matches because like I kind of wanted a grab bag. I didn't want like all the best matches, and I wanted just kind of a good career of somebody. I'm gonna kind of be looking at a lot more indie people or in the Japanese promotions, kind of people that don't get as much of a giant like micro, what do you call it, magnifying glass on them. Why did I say microscope? That, I guess that kind of also works. But yeah, so we're gonna do the Blackheart Lio Rush. I remember seeing his clip go viral from this match with Jaden right here. It's the second to last one on the tier list, and it was just when I saw that I was like, man, this guy's crazy. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've heard this guy's name before, and I saw that he was in WWE, and so I checked over some of his matches over the course of the last year. I kind of have them in chronological order. I didn't say over the last couple of years, not year. So we're going to kind of go into it. I'm going to kind of talk about the match. I'm going to show a little bit of highlights, and then I'm going to put it in the tier list of where I think it belongs. So we're going to start right off the bat, which is kind of a crazy one because it's another person who is in the current WWE. It is Joe Gacy. It was at a CZW Sacrifices, I'm guessing is what the pay-per-view or premium live event name was, in 2014. So about 10 years ago. One, Lio Rush just not age because like he seems almost the same age that he is there to where he currently, like I don't feel like he's aged at all. And hey, that's a more power to him because I feel like I've aged over 10 years. We're going to kind of judge everything about it. Right off the bat, the first thing I like to do is his ring attire. That one was definitely a C. It's definitely his worst through all of these matches, and that's not bad. Like, a C is not bad in ring attire. It really doesn't have any course of anything, but like, if you can get like that spot on where your attire is S, the thing's S, everything's S, you're just kind of like, okay, that was one of the most iconic matches. But, so I'll do a little bit on that. There's some really crazy spots here. It's a like hardcore death match, so there's a lot of like crazy items being used. Obviously, we got the tables and we got chairs. We got all those classic ones, and there's a nasty table spot that I'll show you on the highlights. And the highlights aren't going to be like anything super long. We're going to do it maybe like from 10 to 15 seconds. It's nothing too crazy. I don't want to like take a whole match and put it on here. You can find the match online. All of these matches I found on YouTube. I kind of kept it like that too, so other people could be like, oh, I actually want to check this match out myself. So this is the Joe Gacy match. It is pretty insane, and I will show you a couple highlights before we rate it. So as you can see in these highlights, he takes this really nasty spear right into a table. I think it's just a really crazy cool spot. This just shows like the kind of like ability he has for dodging and stuff, and he just tosses him right into the ladder. And then this is just one of those classic high risk, high rewards going off the top rope to get it. And I think a lot of those ways that like Lio Rush is, you could just like a human highlight reel, is because of those moments, because he can also take them and give them, and he just looks clean when he does it. And we're going to go right into the rating of this match. So this Gacy fight is just a pretty solid indicator to put it right in the middle. I think it was kind of a longer match. There was a lot of spots with the weapons that kind of take away from the pure wrestling events. There's nothing wrong with that. I've always kind of not been the person that, like, tables, chairs, ladders, those are pretty great. But when you have the everything else, the chains, the trying to choke somebody out and that type of stuff, I don't know, I've never been a big fan of that, and that's just my personal opinion. Like with these matches, I'm just kind of basing it off of that. But I guess this is the perfect middle of the road match to throw on here to show this is him in 10 years ago, and this is where he comes from. And if you see the matches that he puts on after this, they just get better and better. No spoilers too much ahead, because there is one stinker in this match, but when you get to it and you hear what I have to say about it, it'll be a lot better. But next up, we have the Adam Cole match. This took place in Ring of Honor in 2016. So it was about 2 years after the Joe Gacy fame. Adam Cole is like a phenomenal wrestler when he definitely was like in the NXT and Ring of Honor. I'm not saying that he's not now. I just think he's very severely handcuffed by injuries and whatever AEW is doing with him. I think he's still probably injured, and they're not really wanting to explore that and keep saying that he's on the shelf. But I have a feeling he is because we haven't really seen him really go in there and do the wrestling that he has been doing for the last, even this is from 2016, that last 8 years. So yeah, this match overall, the couple things that I pick up. Well, first, attire. I think Lio Rush has a pretty solid B attire. He kind of likes the black on him. I've noticed with men wrestlers, it's really like a black or white type thing, and then you get a little bit of blues, a little bit of reds, but there's not a huge amount of difference other than that. So if you get something crazy, you kind of get that. I still liked it. I thought it was a really good outfit. And like with the match itself, it was really good back and forth. The two kind of things that stand out to me that I really wanted to put a note. This was one of those matches where he was definitely the baby face of it, and I feel like he plays a better heel or just plays like a more neutral character. So because some of these matches, he's not a good or bad guy, but like that one, he felt like very like I'm just there, I'm the good guy and stuff, and it's just I don't know. He doesn't have that vibe. He has a very like animalistic like move set, and when you like see it, especially when he gets like fully into that Blackheart situation, like he really gets into that. But he kind of has that in a lot of his moves because he has like very flow and like really good dodge material that he does, and I feel like that kind of gets pulled away when he's not that heel. So this match, he's with the babyface. I have a feeling that that's a lot of it. In the second part that I really hated about this match, and it's just kind of classic heel type things. Adam Cole obviously cheats to win, and what is it? The Young Bucks come out and take out Lio for him, and yeah, it's just not one of those things that I liked because the match was going so good that it didn't really need that. It could have even just been that he lost clean because he was going out there and putting out his heart. He's already showing that, and I'll show you with that in these clips. And here we go with the clips. Like you can see just the amount of abilities that Lio Rush has to go around, and that spinning DDT is just absolutely disgusting. And then this move with Adam Cole just going right after him, and it's obviously just a quick jump. But look at that, the Hurricane Rana just with the standing Hurricane Rana is just really nasty there, and you can see like that strength and like what I was trying to say with like the animalistic type thing. It's just his ability to throw his body around like he's weightless because he is kind of a smaller dude, but he's built strong. Like you can see the leg muscles and like the arm muscles of him, so he's good with like that. And overall, I think when you see this match and when you see the whole thing, it's just back and forth, and I think it overall just puts a really solid match together, and you'll see that when we rate it. Yeah, and so speaking of that rating, we're going to put this match in a solid, very solid A status. I do believe it's better than the Gacy fight because I feel like you really get to see what Lio Rush is all about in this. Like he gets to show just absolutely all of his moveset in his solid form, and Adam Cole can actually like stick with him the whole entire time and show and like push him to that limit. I don't want to even say show him the limit. No, he was pushing him past that limit, and overall it was great. Again, I feel like to me it's not really an S tier match because one, the ending, and two, in the middle, and like with some of the stuff it was just like they just lost that intensity to just kind of do other stuff. If they would have gave him a smaller time limit, like maybe it was like 15, like a solid 15, and just let them go to war, I think that would have been like an S tier match, like a 5-star for anybody else. But I think overall, we saw what Lio Rush could do. And then just a year later, we go into our next match against what is now Swerve Strickland. Like he's the man over there in AEW, and this match like lived up to it. We'll go right into the ring attire. Lio Rush B. It was kind of solid, similar to the Adam Cole match. Wasn't anything too crazy. The main gripe that I had, at least with this match, has nothing to do with their fighting right off the bat. It's just the camera angles. They kind of had like a lot of zoom in and a lot of like pickup angles like that. So like I think it really ended up missing some of that really deep action that we could have got by having this zoomed out. Overall, it's such a small nitpicky thing, but it's like something that you want to go into when you see that fight, because I feel like it being out a little bit with how much high flying that these two did, it would have been great. The first part of the match, they're kind of just going in and out of the ring, didn't need to happen. They already have that ability to do some really crazy stuff, and they do crazy stuff here. This is classic Swerve, and this match, is just, if you see these two guys and you see this is 2017, like right before I think they get into the WWE, this looked like it could cook. Like, this was going to be the future of WWE at this time, and it like is crazy that they kind of end up fumbling the bag with definitely both of these guys, especially in Swerve's case because he is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion right now, and he's had like almost every pay-per-view that we've seen him in. He's had a B or higher in every match. At least I can't think of a match that I've rated lower than a B for him. I want to say it's either been A or S. Like, I have to go back, but I really believe that's how it's been since he's had this title. And even matches before that, he was still putting out, top 3 matches of the night. And in AEW, that's pretty impressive because, like, no matter what you say about AEW, if you say that their wrestling's bad, you're crazy on that. Because I'll say their storytelling is pretty garbage. Because they just have really big stories and drop them out of the blue. And a lot of it has to do with injury and like stuff like that, or people leaving. I understand. But you got to figure it out, because that's kind of what wrestling is. It's storytelling and being in the ring, being good. Because if you don't have one or the other, it doesn't give you that longevity that like the WWE has had, because they've had both. And yeah, a little side tangent. Overall, this match, it's just crazy. I think it's just a crazy match, and I feel like if you got this match right now, 7 years later, it would be a solid, amazing S tier match. And when you see these clips, you'll understand why it's gonna be rated where it's at. So yeah, here's these clips. Look at just Swerve doing insane stuff too. Like, that's just the good selling of Lio right there. Like, you can just see him match that energy. That one, like, looks like he's just down and out, and he's just absolutely, like, it felt like, it was a big time match. And you can just see the way that he's just, like, battling back. I like his, like, in ring acting. It's just really, really good. But overall, like, this match just had some really good spots, some really good just turnaround. I feel like overall, the only reason why I would put this in the way I'm gonna put it, is because I feel like Swerve definitely outshined Lio in it, as you can see, like, because these are like the top 2 clips from it, and both of them just kind of show the way that Swerve was in control, but Leo still looked good. It was just he just didn't get that offensive beauty type moves in there, but overall, we'll see where it goes. So yeah, we're gonna put it in A tier. I think it was just a great match, but I think my main thing is that when you have a match and your opponent outshines you, it's hard to put it in like S tier when we're just going based off of like this is Lio Rush's side of things, because he could have a match out there and get absolutely destroyed, but if he had a great match, it's still a higher match. But this one I think was definitely overshadowed. But you can't like don't like you can't even like like sleep on it, because it is a just solid great match because Swerve is there and showing that it's his house. Next up, we have a Finn Balor match. It was for the IC title back on Raw in 2019, so it was past all of Lio Rush's cruiserweight days in NXT, which were really solid. I didn't really go any of those matches because I felt like overall in his WWE experience from the couple of the matches I watched, I wasn't anything too crazy impressed by it. I feel like they just kind of handcuffed him to doing certain stuff, and I think that if they just let him go wild a little bit, I think we would have saw a lot more. The NXT is a lot better than the main roster stuff, so that's why I kind of wanted to include this. But Finn Balor obviously goes out there. He's a champion. He's showing way more offense, way more everything. Lio Rush has some really good spots in it, which we'll see on the highlights, and we're just going to jump right into those. Like, look at this. He uses that bottom rope so insanely well, and he does that quite often in these matches. And then that was just a beautiful dive off the top. This one was just like one of those crazy reverses. I think it was kind of a little messed up at the end, but it's just crazy the way that he can get that flight. I only think person I can think of really that gets higher up there is Montez Ford, but I believe if Leo Rush had the second opportunity to do it again, I bet he could probably get as high. But overall, as you can see, it was just one of those matches. He got those really good moves in there and really showed off. But overall, we knew there wasn't going to be much of a change because Finn Balor is phenomenal, and this is in the middle of his IC run, so there wasn't going to be much of a change. But I definitely did think the match deserved to be on this list. I've been trying to shy away from the WWE matches because like obviously it's like different than an indie wrestler, but I think this one deserved to be on here because it just kind of showed a different side of Lio and it needed to be put into this. So that being said, we're going to put this match in B category. I think it's definitely below the Joe Gacy fight. And overall, right now, out of the four matches that we've seen, it's probably his worst. But I think it's because he just didn't get the opportunity. The match is also not that super long compared to all the rest of these matches. It's probably the shortest match that he has. So I think that also deals with a lot of this stuff. And like I said, I kind of been wanting to avoid the WWE stuff, but I kind of wanted to glance at a few of the matches, and this one stood out to me to kind of show the compare and contrast of what he does. And overall, when I do put his like grade together, I definitely kind of it's like when you have like a college course or something and they're like, oh, we'll knock off your worst grade just to show where you're at. Yeah, this is the one that we knock off if we end up grading them because it's like a little bit of a curve. But yeah, next up we have Blake Christian, who I've never seen before. This was at GCW in 2021, so we're getting closer to the presence. The entire B, I do give it kind of like a little bit higher than all the other Bs that I've said because he has like this barbed wire crown that he uses, and this is kind of more of the Blackheart days of like the tattoos and the like oozing black liquid or black blood, the heart. He uses that in the rest of these three matches. So that's kind of where we get to the Blackheart situation of all of it. Great gimmick. Like right off the bat, if he sticks with that, I know he just went to AEW and he didn't have it, and I think that was absolutely insane, which it's fine. If he signs with AEW, then you should bring it. If he's just in there for a little bit of talent, then I understand not wanting to bring that in to spoil it. But he needs to keep onto that gimmick. So we go into this fight. Overall, it's a barn burner. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match, which you don't see that often. At least not in like when you watch like the classic WWE. So we had some really good one. The first fall where Leo won was great. It went straight to Blake winning the next one. They overall just went back and forth and had these crazy spots in and outside of the ring because the ring itself had a lot of weapons around it. It was one of those where like compared to the Joe Gacy fight, like they weren't the highlight of everything. They used them, but they weren't the highlight of like everybody was focused in on them. There was a couple crazy spots of just like with the doors and stuff like that. And we'll show when we see some of these clips, you'll see some of the other stuff that ends up happening. And like right off the bat, you'll see this. This is just kind of crazy, jump over, not anything too crazy, but this pull around like Spanish fly thing that I think he does is really nasty. He does it quite often. This is, you can also see his ring attire. Gets the 2 middle fingers up and just that body slam on it. Those were some of the nasty spots. It ended up going all the way to where that coffin was. This match like definitely went all over the place. It felt like it was more of like a film shoot match because it didn't have like a live crowd unless I couldn't tell, because like you could hear the noises and stuff, but I didn't feel like it was like a ton of people. It felt like more of a shoot thing. I don't watch much GCW. I've seen a lot of clips from it, but I've never like just sat there and watched a full event. So I think this might have been, well, it's 2021, so this might have been around the COVID era of wrestling, so that could have been part of it. But yeah, nasty, nasty match that just had some crazy spots into it. And then that's why we will put this match in an overall A spot. I think it was just a great match. They both had some really great spots. It's one of those matches, I think, out of all of these, that it felt like anybody could win because it was just really back and forth. There wasn't really like a clear favorite. With some of the other ones, you could kind of see that either he was playing the underdog. Honestly, in all of 4 of these matches, he felt like he was the underdog, even though he did win. I think most of these matches, except I'm pretty sure he lost Finn Balor one and he lost the Adam Cole one. So like, but he was the underdog in all this one. This one felt like it was more just like an evenly matched thing, and they had a great chemistry inside the ring, so it made it great. Then we come up to the Jaden fight. This one is the one that got me to cover Lio Rush because I saw this absolutely crazy animalistic wrestling that he was doing, and I've used that word already once today, but it's absolutely insane. This is definitely an S tier attire also because like the dripping blood, the things, the makeup, like his clothes, like the clothes itself was just normal, but with the black heart, all of that, the whole gimmick worked perfectly, and he just looked great out there. Jaden, I think, is kind of like a Deku from My Hero Academia kind of character. It was really like a good versus evil thing, and I really liked that vibe that they were doing, and the spots that they had were just absolutely insane, going in and outside the ring, all over it too. Like I feel like that really used the space really well, and I think that really showed off like both of the wrestlers' talent, and obviously like just the way that he kept to his character, and like they used his gimmick into the whole entire match, especially at the end where he kind of got like reanimated when he drank the black heart and tricked the ref into it, which that part definitely could have skipped. I definitely would have cut that out. I guess what they were doing, I mean, I understand what they were doing, but it's not exactly what I thought was, best. This is also from Roseland, I think, is the name of the event, and I want to say it was from this year. This was the only one I didn't actually write down the year for whatever reason, but I'm pretty sure it was this year. So yeah, we'll see the clips. So yeah, this is what I was talking about with the animalistic thing. He does this. He's done this a couple times. It's just absolutely crazy. And then the jump in there into the crowd is just insane. And look at the strength to hold this man up, because this man is fairly big, like muscular and like just, size wise. And he just gets that falcon arrow so nicely. And this is what the clip I saw on TikTok of him just like snapping his neck. Obviously not the end of the match, and it wasn't like he killed the guy, but it just felt so nasty and so crazy. But the jump into the crowd was insane. And this venue was just pumping for this match too. I think there's some stuff like when you have a crowd that is so insanely behind the match, it just helps so much. And like look at that. Look at that like that makeup, the blood. See, the outfit itself is just kind of standard and kind of standard for him, but like overall it just made everything just pop off even more. So that's why we're definitely putting this one in S tier. Just instantly great match. Like I just everything about it was great. It was, a fairly long match, so if you have the time, it's definitely one to rewatch. This would be my recommendation if you're going to watch any of the matches. This is the one, even if the next one is also S tier or not. This is the one to look at just because of how crazy the spots are. I think you'll remember a lot of them, and you'll really see all of what Lio Rush can do. And this is only, like I said, it's either from this year or last year, so this is like brand new to him, or like brand new to showing, so that you could see the progression he's already done just even in the course of these matches. And then last but certainly not least, we have his match against it's El Hidro del Dr. Ragnar. It was a long name for at Alive or Just Breathing. I think the video was posted 2 weeks ago, so I'm not sure if this was just happened or the video's up a little bit. The showing the speed on a bigger of opponent in this match is just absolutely insane. Oh yeah, his attire is also an A. He kind of has similar attire than he has in the Blackheart match. I just like the Blackheart one a little bit better because it was like a grungy feel to it. Really, just kind of nitpicking on being like S tier. I think it just has to be perfect to me, and A tier is just it's really good, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we definitely had that. The bounce from that bottom rope he continuously uses is just a very underrated move. I don't think I've seen many wrestlers use it so much in his repertoire, and he does it so flawlessly that it's just that thing is so signature to what I feel like a Lio Rush right now. Like if I saw that in just watching something else and it was like new, I would believe that they got it from him because he uses it so flawlessly. My big gripe on this is just a very sudden ending. It was just like you're cruising and doing a lot of stuff, but it just kind of ends abruptly. And I feel like they could have probably cut off of a little bit of the middle if they had the time constraint. That they didn't have the time constraint. They should have gave it a proper ending, even if it was just a definitive ending. I know they do that type of stuff, so it kind of feels like, well, he didn't really like lose or didn't win because it was just kind of suddenly and he just got the guy at the last second. But when you see these clips, you'll see what this match was. And you get this insane spot right off the bat with him just hitting the back legs, and then the run into the crowd, which we saw him do that similar in the Jaden fight. This is just insane. If you look at this, like the strength for one, and the look of this is crazy. Like, look at that. And like I said, he is basically in the same attire as the last one. I just feel like it's a little bit better with the makeup. It's almost like 50-50 the same. Good splash there. We're kind of used to that if you watch Theo Splash. He can do high flying stuff. This this though, this reversal into the pin is great. And I think like he just is able to do this. He's been able to do this with every other opponent that he's had on this list, but every of those other opponents are much smaller or like a little bit more pliable. This guy is just a brick house. He is so strong and he's so big, like and bulky. He's not fat or anything, but like he's just bulky in size. So like it's crazy that he can do it to him. And I think that's really what shows the complexity of like what he can actually get out there. Even though like he seems like Lio Rush has a lot of the same move set, it's just crazy the way that he can reverse certain stuff like that and just make it look beautiful. And that's why overall I'm gonna have to put this in another S tier match. It is a really, really good match. I wanted to put it in A because of the ending, but again, I can't really fault the ending on this one because maybe it's just something that they wanted to do to set up maybe a rematch or something like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not a big fan of like a kind of just quick ending where it's like this whole thing's been high octane. We want like a high octane ending, and it's not always achievable because you've been going back and forth. That there is no like crazy thing that you can do. But yeah, that's what the only thing I would be the gripe with that one. So I can't really not put it in S tier. And overall, if I'm going to give Lio Rush a score, I really want to put him in the like 8.5 area of a 10-point scale. I don't really know exactly what I'm scaling off of because this is the first one I've recorded. It might not be the first one posted, but this is the first one I'm recording. So that's kind of where I'm starting the grade, and then I'm going to eventually do a tier list with all the people that we put in here, and maybe we'll change it up when that comes around. But that's kind of where I want to instantly put him, is like an 8.5. Like he's really good, and he really deserves more than he's gotten. And I feel like out of a lot of the wrestlers here, like you always like, hey, you should try to get to the WWE. Man, I honestly don't think he should. I feel like he could really do some good stuff over in AEW. He just needs his gimmick and he needs the build up. And I hopefully if they can give him that, we could see another Swerve Lio Rush match not too far into the future. And hopefully it will bring this A tier match, to shame because it will be so good. And overall, yeah. Also, Adam Cole's also over there, and those could be all matches. It's kind of interesting the two WWE people are in B. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but overall, yeah. This has been Japan. Again, tell me if there's any wrestlers in the comments you want me to check out. I'm kind of doing a lot more indie people, but if there's somebody that you want, like, hey, I want to know about blank when they were in the indie scene, I can do that too. I have a list, so it'll be some time, so just be patient. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.